Welcome to the Coin and Key Collective, where we explore crypto and real estate. Thank you for joining us. And thanks also to Red Squirrel for helping us to put this together. Like this video and subscribe. We have like 289 subscribers. Let's get to 300 today. We have some upcoming guests. Alex McWhirter has my calendar. Funding Jim also has my calendar. Crispy, we have a stream set up. We're going to be talking about leaving a legacy for your family. And Brett Schwartz, a real estate agent, and he's going to talk about deferring capital gains taxes. Now, if you have any inkling that you may take profit this bull cycle into real estate, then pay attention to these guys. Corey and Dane, thank you for joining us. Stephanie should be jumping in about 30 minutes. So she had some errands to do. And with that, do you guys have any opening comments?
Man, thanks for having us. We're pumped to be here. We love talking about real estate. We love talking about crypto, the opportunities that the two bring. I think it's just an absolutely life-changing, family tree altering opportunity if you can understand how to play it correctly. And there's no better time to figure these things out than near the bottom of the market where we're at right now. And so great opportunity. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And I'll also chime in on that too, is that, as you know, we like to talk about on our show, we want to use crypto as a wealth creation tool and then use real estate as that wealth preservation tool down the road. And we've done it the other way around, where me and Dane have tried using real estate as a wealth creation tool, and it works. Man, it's not without its headaches. And me and Dane have both built up a multi-million-dollar wholesaling company, and we're doing the fix and flipping and the whole rigmarole of running a massive team. And it's just, man, it comes with its headaches. It's worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze, but man, it's nothing like crypto. And so this time around, we want to use crypto as that wealth creation tool. And then we can preserve our wealth with real estate and use it the way it was intended to be used. And so that's kind of the journey we're on. We want to make sure we bring as many of our entrepreneur friends as possible along this journey to show them the opportunity that's in front of us. Like Dane said, there's no better place in the market than right now, with the Fed wrecking the market with the interest rates for the last year and a half, Bitcoin having around the corner, the presidential election coming up next year. There's just so many things on the horizon that looks massively bullish in the future. Not now. Now is the opportunity to accumulate.
Correct. So, and I failed to mention, subscribe to these guys' channel. What's the name of your channel?
There's two of them. So we come together and we're called the DeFi Crypto Alliance Show. But just how our right here, our names on the YouTubes are Crypto Millionaires with Corey Geary. You can look up Corey Geary and find me. And then Dane's the Money Talk _Dane. Subscribe to both of our channels. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Okay, cool. So top of mind question. We have a list here, but top of mind question is, cryptocurrency and real estate are both very exciting. And we tend to get like a one-track mind. So this is really not a fair question. So right now, what are you guys more excited about?
Oh my God, not a fair question.
Crypto or real estate?
Go ahead, Dane.
Oh man, we're way more excited about crypto. It's not even close.
Okay.
And the reason why, right? Like we talked about before, we're near the bottom of the market right now. And even if you compared, like, let's say that crypto and real estate bottom at the exact same time. Let's just say, I don't think that's occurring or going to occur.
Yeah.
But let's say that it does. They bottom at the exact same time. Your upside in crypto is so much higher. It's infinitely higher than it is with real estate. You can always go and do real estate. You can always buy a rental. You can always go and force appreciation. You can always go find a real estate deal. You can't always find a great crypto deal. And that's why we're so excited about cryptocurrency right now.
Okay. Do you think that that will shift, like going in the next, like when we go into this bull cycle, we anticipate having some profits, and then we'll need to rotate those, as you say, into some other asset if we want. We don't need to, but do you think that your affection toward real estate will change at that point?
Definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because like Corey said, Corey nailed it. We want to use crypto as a wealth creation tool and real estate as a wealth preservation tool, especially if you're not, if you're not somebody that's like Corey that's moved to Puerto Rico, or me, I'll be moving to Puerto Rico at the end of this year. You're going to get slaughtered by the tax man with your
Yeah.
crypto gains. You're going to give half of it away, depending upon what state you live in. You're going to give a lot of people close to half of it away to the government, if you're a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. And so you need to have some other solutions in mind. Something like real estate is really unique, where you could go and instead of giving whatever amount of money it is you need to give away to the government. Well, a lot of people, and talk to a CPA, I'm not one of them. I've just utilized real estate to have these tax saving events, or tax delaying type of events,
Mm-hmm.
where rather than giving money away to the government, I could just go buy some real estate and buy myself an asset that cash flowed and did some cool things in the meantime. And so you're going to need a solution for taxes unless you like
Yes.
giving your money away to the government.
And let's
Agreed.
look at the alternative, Eric. What are you going to do? Stay in crypto after the next bull run? We hear about this all the time. People are like, oh, there's so many other avenues in crypto that you don't have to exit, like take loans on your crypto. And no, I disagree with all that. Me and Dane have no intention whatsoever of sticking around and waiting out another bear market and taking anywhere from a 70 to a 98% hit on
Yeah.
our portfolio. We plan on
Hmm.
exiting out of the market, and then that we're not done with crypto. We're going to come back in once the bear market does what it does. It's historically, and until that changes and we're proven different, we're not going to change the strategy. The strategy is exit out of the bear market, let the bear market flush out. It's what always flushes out: the bad actors, like the people like Sam Bankman-Fried's, the FTXs, the
Yeah.
Celsius. So do you need a bear market for that type of get those actors out? But we're going to exit out. We're going to get off the table while that happens, and we're going to park our money in some real estate. We're going to wait it out, and then when it comes back and it's time for the accumulation again, we'll come back in.
Right on. I want to talk more about that, but let's get into the real estate. So, how did you guys get your start in real estate?
Dan, you're
Like
muted.
the 3 to 5 minute version, if you can
Corey,
do
you,
that.
you take it, Corey. You start us off with a bang.
Oh boy, man, that's all right. So I got into real estate, man, just like anybody else, just chasing the carrot.
Hmm.
I wanted to make more money. I was watching that show Flip or Flop with Tarek Al Musa, how to flip houses. And my girlfriend at the time was a part-time realtor. I used to be a blackjack dealer at the time. And she's like,
Mm.
why don't you flip a house so I can list it? Like, she just wanted the listing. I was like, and she knew I had money saved up. And I was like, okay. So I flipped the house, and I made a few $1,000s over 6 months. And then on my third deal, I ended up losing my whole life savings, my 401k money, everything. It wiped me out. And I didn't want to give up. So I went on, I literally went on Google, and I was like, because we were buying deals from wholesalers. And a wholesaler is just somebody who gets a contract from a seller and flips it over to an investor,
Mhm.
which what we were doing. We were the investors. But after I got my ass kicked, I went on Google. I was like, how do wholesalers get deals? And then I found my mentor, and his name was Sean Terry, at least one of my mentors. I had many mentors in my real estate journey. And I bought his course, man. I joined his mastermind, and I started wholesaling. And we both, me and Dane, built up a very robust wholesaling company / flipping. I went back to flipping houses too after I wholesaled my way out of the hole. And I'll tell you what, man, and I'll let Dane kind of tell his side of the story. But one thing real estate did for me is save my life. I got into real estate chasing the carrot, wanting more money. But what it did is it changed me mentally, spiritually, and physically, along with financially. Those are my 4 pillars that I live by. And I was a heavy alcoholic, drug addict, womanizer, everything you could think of. And real estate, from being around like-minded people like Dane and yourself, and joining these masterminds and being on this journey together, it changed me from the core. It changed me as a person. It woke me up. And I realized on how destructive I was in my life. And so real estate saved me. It really did. And so I love real estate for that. And it put me on this journey, man. And not just for wealth, but also for, like I said, mental, spiritual, and physical. It's changed me. And I've been sober now off of drugs and alcohol for over 3 years. Yeah.
Love it.
So it's been an amazing journey, man. And that's how I met Dane. I met Dane in a mastermind, another mastermind, real estate mastermind in the beginning of my real estate journey. And since we're kind of building the same business together in real estate, we stayed in contact. We became friends. And it just so happens years down the road, we end up getting the crypto together. It's wild.
Which one of you got into crypto first?
Dane.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so Corey's story is nuts. He could go on for hours and just blow all of our socks off with some of the and really pretty miraculous events that have happened to him. For me, I grew up, very traditionally, where I'd really bought into the idea of getting a good education and a good job with good benefits. I went and did way too much school. I got a master's degree, and I thought that would give me the keys to the kingdom. And it was
Not always.
shocking. It was shocking how getting out of school, I thought I should be paid way more than the market was showing. I thought I knew a lot more than I really did. And man, it was a rude awakening. So I found myself working in the tech industry. I like tech. I love tech. I think it's awesome. And that actually works really good with blockchain stuff.
Yep.
So I was working in the technology space, and it was cool. I had kind of like I had an implementation sales type of role where I was doing a little bit of both, and I loved it. I was the second to last hire at my last job before they froze hiring. We were a fintech company, and the market just stopped buying our loans. And so we would create financing for people that needed financing for different surgeries, dental, lots of different things of that nature. Market stopped buying our loans. I was the second to last hire. They froze the hiring, and 3 months later, everybody was laid off. And it was one of the best experiences to date of my life.
Like $1 million experience you wouldn't pay a nickel for?
Yeah, exactly. Where I felt for all my friends at work that were devastated by the move. They closed down all of the branches. I think there were 5 different branches. They closed down everybody but San Francisco and brought everything back to headquarters in California. And I walked out of the office. I called my wife. I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to take this real estate thing more serious that I've been trying on a part-time basis, because I was trying to like do deals and find a way to make some money while I was working full time." And man, so she said, "Okay, well, let her rip." And I found myself 6 months later where, I was working and doing no deals. I'd spent like $6,000 in marketing. I did a little deal that I made $3,500 on, so I'm still like underwater. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. And my wife says, you either need to make some money or you need to get a job. And I'm like, look, I don't disagree. Like I'm with you. And so I told her I'd go and apply for a few jobs. I'm fairly well connected with some different industries. I could go get a job. And so I told her I would. And I don't know if you guys have had an experience like this, but man, like I felt like I was doing the right things. I felt like I was in the right place with real estate. I felt like I just needed to keep working. And every time I would go and try to apply for a new job, I go to put my hands on the keyboard to do it. And it was like God was like stopping me. Like, Dane, you're not doing this. You're in the right place. Just keep pushing. And I felt that all the time. I'd pray and I'm like, I'm freaking stressed, God. Like, what's going on here? You've got to shake some stuff loose, or else, like, this isn't working so far. And it's like most trials of faith, if you will, or a lot of people, you got to go through a desert to get to the well, to get to an oasis. And I was going through the desert, and so, but time and time again, I pray, and I felt really convinced that God was like, look, I've got your back. Just keep pushing. And so I went to a conference. There was this dude named Brent Daniels. I owe Brent a ton. Me and Corey both know Brent. Brent's a really good guy. All my interactions, I appreciate Brent. He was at an event. He spoke about cold calling these leads, and I thought, you know what, I could go make some money doing that. And so I did. I bought a list of people that I could call. Turns out it was one of the most competitive lists in my market. Little did I know, but I bought this list. I got phone numbers for these people, and I said, God, I'm going to call this list 100 times through until I make some money, or until we lose the house and we lose the cars. My wife has no idea about my commitment level, but this is what I'm going to do. And and so I started calling, and it was about 15 hours on the dialer. I was using a software where you could be dialing at a more rapid rate than just like hand dialing. Exactly.
Like Mojo dialer.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm dialing through. 15 hours in, I get I contact this gentleman who had bought this house in the 2008, 9, 10 real estate crash, and he thought that the house was in much better shape than it was. He bought it. He moved. He dejunked it. He moved all of his stuff in. That first night, he says, "There's no way I can live in this house." And so he left and lived in his friend's house for the last 5 or 6 years. I called him at the right time. I said, "Hey, do you want to? Would you be open to selling this house?" He says no.
Oh.
And I'm about to hang up, and there's this long pause, and he says it's not worth anything. And I said, "Oh, that's a unique response."
Cha-ching!
Yeah, what do you mean? And he tells me, I bought this house. It's a piece of crap. He doesn't know what to do with it. I said, well, how much did you buy it for? And he says that he bought it for $50,000. And mind you, that same house in the same beat up condition today is probably worth $300,000 to $400,000, even before being fixed up. So I said, hey, what if I could find a way to make you whole, to give you what you bought this house for, to make it so you're even, you're not out of pocket anything on this deal. And he said, that would be awesome. I would love that. I would love to get out and get my money back. And I said, great. And so I went over and we signed the purchase agreement. 30 days later, long story short, those people told me the deal was dead. There were a bunch of hiccups and roadblocks, but 30 days later, I cashed a check for $70,000 net to me. I wholesaled the deal, so somebody else went and flipped it. I went and sold the paper. I made 70 grand, and I was on my way. I was right place, right time, and I feel incredibly grateful for.
Yeah, man, you crushed it. Great job.
Very fortunate, and once again, like all credit to God. It's not because I was smart or super talented. Right place, right time, and I feel like, and I feel the same way about crypto, but I feel like God gives you crumbs to follow along the way, and it's never going to be perfect, but it doesn't need to be. And if you just follow the crumbs, you'll find yourself where your life is just this miraculous patchwork of really cool experiences that lead to a miraculous life. And Corey and I feel like we're living that every single day.
Absolutely. One good book to kind of touch and open people's eyes on that whole concept right there is a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And that book really it was one of the life-changing books for me in the beginning of my journey. So
I have a favorite. I wrote that down. Thanks for the book referral. I have a favorite saying. It's action trumps everything.
Everything.
We got to take action, not on everything, but on the things that we need to do. Just be moving, right? Taking action. Though it sounds like the Lord burnt a bunch of bridges, boats. You've heard that saying. He burned a bunch of boats for you, and then you burnt the last few. It's like he got you started. I love that story. That's good. So let's take it to another level here. So what asset classes or strategies do you guys specialize in now that you've matured as real estate investors? What asset classes are you in, and what strategies are you using?
Go ahead, Corey.
So when I wound down my real estate business, because right now we're not really operating I mean, we have a few deals, but like that's because they're problematic deals that have been stuck with us for a while. I wound down at the end of last year, beginning of this year. We were doing the main strategy we were doing was a strategy called novations. Novations is very similar to wholesaling, but instead of wholesaling it to an investor, you're putting on the MLS and you're going to sell it to an end buyer that will have conventional financing. You're able to monetize more deals that way. You're able to basically acquire more deals that way because you don't have to have such a big spread. We were doing anywhere from 30 to 60 of those a month when I wound down. So we were, and our average novation fee was around $33,000. I had a team of 10 people. We were running really hard. And so 2022, you know, with all the interest rates rising and all the what was going on with the economy, the business got a little bit shaky. We were still running in the green, but not nearly as in the green as 2021. And I could kind of see the writing on the wall where the investing side, wholesaling, fix and flipping would be kind of like, it was a little bit of murky waters. And so I just slowly started winding down. And at the same time, you know, I was getting heavy into crypto. And as when me and Dane, you know, we were starting to talk a lot about crypto, and that's when the Pulse X sacrifice was going on. We came in right at the Pulse X sacrifice. So I started winding the company down a little bit. I also ran a mastermind. I ran a mastermind that taught novations, taught how to do nationwide, because my company was nationwide. We buy and sell houses all over the nation. And so we ran a mastermind teaching other investors how to do this model. And I had about 50-ish people in my mastermind. And so at the end, you know, I was kind of winding things down, but at the same time, doing this whole crypto thing. And man, at the end of 2022, you know, me and Dane, we decided pretty much to actually, Dane, I'll let him tell the story. He kind of went all in on crypto before I did. It was about a year before I did, if I'm not mistaken. But I wound my company down now. I even sold off some rentals to get into the crypto market because I really feel wholeheartedly this is the opportunity of a lifetime. If you're not going all in on crypto, you are missing the signals. You're missing the boat. And so literally that's what I am putting my money where my mouth's at. I am going all in on crypto. Everything is going in. We also have a mastermind where we're teaching real estate entrepreneurs how to do crypto the right way, the safe way, you know, mainly focused around the Richard Hart ecosystem. It's a real estate mastermind that we teach crypto to. And so we got that going on right now. But as far as real estate, what our plan is this time is that instead of running a high level fix and flip, novation, wholesale operation with a bunch of employees and getting sued all the time and always I mean, it was just the biggest headache, man. And you're one big HR company. We're going to be investing our money with high-level operators who run syndications, who run funds. We have a lot of buddies who are very high-level apartment guys, commercial guys. We'll be parking our money with them and letting them run the deals, letting them find the deals, and we'll just be basically really cash flowing. Instead of like going out there and putting the grunt work in, let someone else put the grunt work in. They're going to get their cut, and that's fine. But I like that model a lot better. There's no true passive income in real estate. Everyone sells you a lie. Everyone sells you a lie unless you are doing seller financing or you're investing in syndications or funds. And so we will be going those routes in the future when we're exiting out of crypto. But right now, the opportunities in crypto, there's no better opportunity of a lifetime. I feel so passionate, so does Dane, that right now is the opportunity. If you're sleeping on this and trying to do anything else, you're gonna miss the boat. So moving forward, to answer your question, I know it's kind of long-winded, is that we'll be investing our money with syndications, funds. I have this one syndication. It's build to buy to rent guys out in Atlanta, Georgia, and they pay a 20% IRR, which is basically in crypto terms your yield, which is amazing. And so, and in our group, we have a lot of high-level operators that we'll be parking our money with. Are you familiar with Robert Allen, Eric?
I'm not.
Okay, look him up. He's huge. He's from the 1980s. He's one of the OGs who did the infomercials. Right after Carlton Sheets, it came Robert Allen. He's in our group, and so we'll be partnering up with him on a lot of things. And so ideally, we want to be passively as possible, because we went through the whole rigmarole building a high level operation and running it. Man, it's not fun. But yeah, I'll let Dane kind of tell his side of that.
Yeah, and I was pretty similar to Corey. We were wholesaling and flipping primarily. And Corey, to put this in perspective, Corey's volume was just wild, 30 to 60 deals a month.
That's nuts.
we were only doing like 4 to 10 a month, and 10 was like
That's still
a
real good,
crazy
man.
month. We were on average more like 4 to 8 a month, and I like to focus on big deals. So I don't we let the little ones go, because our
Less
business
headache.
model. Yeah, exactly. I wanted less headache. So our business model was to be smaller, was to be leaner, less volume, bigger deals, and it was good. So it was really common for us to do to make $30,000 to $100,000 per deal. I think our average deal size a lot of the time was close to $50,000. So if you're making 50 grand a pop on average, I'm probably inflating it. Let's say it's 40. I think it was closer to 40. I mean, 40 grand a pop on 4 to 6 to 8 deals a month. Like, you're doing all right. And so that was our business model. I bought some. I was trying to take advantage of more of the quote unquote passive end of real estate. So I bought some multifamily. I had a little rental portfolio. I had about 25 doors at the height of it, and I liked all that stuff. Like, it was really good to learn. But just like Corey said, it was anything but passive. We made a bunch of money. It was anything but passive. And this next time around, yeah, a lot more interested in finding passive ways, truly passive ways, typically to be the money in deals, to finance the deals, and do some things in that respect, or do it more unique. I think it'd be interesting to own some assisted living facilities and own the real estate.
Sure.
There's there's drug treatment facilities, and rehab, where you can own the real estate there as well and have a business within the business. There's a lot of interesting ways to crack the nut. And so it's just a matter of doing due diligence to determine not only what's profitable, and this is one of the things, real estate or stocks or whatever, everybody tends to want to just say like, hey, what's the most profitable thing? And I'll just do that. And that's not necessarily the best thing for everybody. You see it in crypto time and time again, where people want to go and yield farm, and they say, hey, where's the best APR? And I'll just go throw everything into that. That's not the best decision oftentimes, based on a number of factors. And real estate's no different, where there's lots of ways to make money, and it's a matter of figuring out what works for you. I think the best way to think about investing in general is you think of it like dating. Most people, they don't marry the first person that they went on a date with.
Right.
You tend to need to date lots of people, figure out who you are, what you like, what you need. Investing's no different. The hope is that you bet small along the way until you figure out what you like, who you are, and what you need, and then you bet heavier.
Right. Agreed. And I am with you guys on the crypto, this next bull cycle. I mean, everybody should be looking at crypto. And a lot of people are putting like a small percentage of their portfolio into crypto. And perhaps like things will settle out, I think. The bull markets, I think, and the bear markets, I think, will eventually kind of settle down. So now might be a good time to like invest more heavily into crypto. Not financial advice, just my opinion. But when you hear terms batted around by highly intelligent people that have been in crypto for a decade or longer,
Mhm.
epic, very epic bull and golden bull from two people that I follow. And when I hear terms like that, I'm like, this is exciting, like extremely exciting. So my takeaway from what you just, especially in particular, Corey, what you said is that you guys are not so much interested in investing directly in a project or a property. You're more so interested in investing in a group that is investing in
An
properties.
operator. Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Now that before we would do it the other way around, but now, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I want to touch on one thing before we kind of lose that topic right there, is because Dane says it all the time. He's like, would you ask people like the Hexicans, for example, what was one of your regrets that you didn't do when Hex first came out? Oh, that they didn't put more in,
Right.
right? Well, I'll tell you what, me and Dane won't have that regret, because like literally we put everything in the kitchen sink in. When we look back, that won't be one regret we have now. If it goes to zero, fine. The good news is me and Dane know how to make money, and we'll pick ourselves up and we'll dust ourselves off and we'll go out there and make
Right.
a crap ton of money
Wait,
anyways. But there won't be no regret of like, I didn't go hard enough.
in
I didn't
crypto.
go in crypto.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Got it. That's exciting stuff, man. So how did you guys, when you were investing in real estate, and I still consider you're still real estate investors, but like, how do you finance your investments?
Get traditional or seller financing.
Okay.
Some of the if you talk about like our fix and flips, I used to use a lot of private money and hard money.
Mm,
I have a lady out in Florida. She'd basically fund almost any deal with me on the whim. Like, I just call her up, say, hey, I need 120, I need 150, because we had a good working relationship. And you get those relationships by, once again, joining masterminds, going to events, getting intertwined, mingled with the community, the same way we do with crypto. You want to do with real estate, and that's how you meet these people with money who are willing to fund your deals. So like my fix and flips, and I'll let Dane answer, but it was all private money or hard money. I have local hard money guys here too that would almost, now I've got such good relationships with them. I could get the funding before I even send the contract over.
Right. And it's interesting because people that want to finance deals or that have money to be able to put deals together, they vary widely in what they want out of the deal and what they want from their money. And so it can get really creative. I think most people automatically jump to thinking of it, oh, if somebody gives me their money, well, they're going to want, a passive monthly payment or return. I did a bunch of deals where the person was like, look, give me the money at the end.
Yeah.
And we'll be cool. Or,
nice.
like, give me a portion of the deal. I want to make my money back plus a percentage of the deal. There's a lot of way to hedge risk and offset pay now money, especially, real estate is very capital intensive. And so you need to find ways to be able to keep your money in the bank and in your own hands time and time again. I mean, Corey and I have both experienced it where you put a large amount of your own personal capital in flips, and then you're looking at, it might be a 90 to 120, 150 day turnaround time, and you're like, well, I got to figure out how to get some more money in the next 90 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what we do is same as Corey would raise funds that way. One of the other things we do, it was when I was buying some of the multifamily deals, there's a really big appetite for people, especially a little bit older people that are risk averse. They're looking for, something that should be like a more safe return. They don't want to hear about crypto right now, but if you can give them, a real estate deal that can offer, conservative, consistent returns, they want that. And so that was one of the benefits of doing what Corey and I did, since we were finding deals, then we were in the driver's seat to put those deals together, and that worked out really good. And then, like Corey said, with seller financing, I did a bunch of those where essentially you go and you find a seller that rather than getting all of their money right now, they'll act as the bank, and they'll say, hey, instead of getting my money out of the deal now, then instead I'll take it over time, or I'll take it later. That could be really advantageous if you're somebody that has a high tax threshold where you're going to pay out a bunch of money in taxes, especially like older people we do deals with, if they've done decent for themselves, and now they're going to go and take a few extra $100,000 in profits on a piece of real estate, or $1,000,000 or a few $1,000,000. Well, they're going to have to go give a lot of that money away to the government. And so, there's a lot of things that go into tax planning and strategy. And so you can defer or spread that out over time by doing seller financing. And so we both did a number of deals that way. And that was a very advantageous strategy for everybody,
for both parties,
the right deal.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be making a seller financed offer to the property I'm living in Puerto Rico right now. We signed the lease just a few weeks ago, but the seller had basically told the realtor, hey, I would be interested in selling if the tenant wants to make an offer. Then Puerto Rico, seller financing is common. Everyone does it.
Oh, really?
Bank lending is not as common out there.
It's very difficult from what I understand.
Yeah, bank lending, right?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of sellers, they understand it, they get it, and it happens all the time. So that'll be the offer I'll make them. I'll make them a seller financed offer, and then that way it's a win-win for me, because I don't have to go to the bank and try to like show all my taxes and go through the rigmarole of all the BS that you got to do to get a loan. The seller will carry it for me, and then it's a win-win for the seller, because like Dane has said, it defers like all the taxable gains, and he's going to have to pay taxes on it because he's a Puerto Rican resident. It's different from what we're doing the Act 60. So right. It's a win-win for both parties. And it's a great strategy. So the great thing about real estate, man, me and Dane learned a lot of skills from real estate, how to run a business, how to manage employees, how to do marketing, how to construct contracts, seller finance offers, how to vet operators. There's a lot of skills that come out of that we are so grateful for. Even though we're not practicing at full capacity right now, we have not done with real estate by any stretch of the measure. I'll tell you that it's a great asset class. A great asset class. It's just not going to give you 100x like crypto can.
Maybe not even a 10 or a 50x.
Yeah, it's like
yeah. So the idea of a hands-off investment strategy in real estate really appeals to me. We all should at least value our time more than perhaps some asset that we hold. So how are you finding these, or how are you intending to find these partners to invest in real estate? And help me with the terms too, because I want to use the term fund or REIT, something like that. Syndication. How are you finding these syndication partners?
I'll let you go with it, Dane.
Yeah. So think about it this way. So if you go on Coinbase and you're buying something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, I would say that's somewhat akin to like a REIT, a big real estate investment trust, where your returns are not going to be as good as something that may be a little bit newer or smaller, which is fine. It just is a matter of like where your interest lies and what you want to do. Friends, we know a lot of people that invested with someone who will not be named, but needless to say, they want to 10x everything. So if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know. But this gentleman's funds, he pays out, I from what I've been told, like 3, 4, 5% APR on those on people that are investing with him. And I don't know about you, but like I mean, how much money do you need to make that a meaningful return? I mean,
A lot.
you need 10 million plus, in my opinion, for that to even remotely start to be like
Yeah.
interesting. And so one of the things that we really like is we like finders, and we've done a really good job, in my opinion, of finding some of the best in the country.
Yeah,
Where
you got it back. We lost you for a second. You
oh,
guys do a
I'm
really
back.
good job of finding.
Yeah, finding some of the best operators in the
Okay.
country where, you know, they've been working, they've been doing deals, they've been raising capital, but they're not on TV. They're not, you know, on
Yeah.
social media necessarily
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, come and give us your money." Those are the guys that oftentimes just aren't going to give you a great return. And so
Right.
what we like is we like a unique niche where it's operators that know what they're doing, but they don't have, you know, $1 billion that they've got to go and manage. Rather, they can do it more on like a case by case and deal by deal basis to say, like, hey, I have this deal. I need to raise X number of dollars. Here's the business plan. And they can offer something like Corey said, instead of like 3, 4, 5, 6% a year, they can offer, you know, 10, 15, 20% a year, which in real estate terms is really good for the passive money. Like that is very good. And
Don't
so
take much to get to your goals then.
right. Then you don't need $10 million parked in order to make a meaningful amount on 15 to 20%, you know, per year. So what we've done is we build our master. So first we build our own mastermind, which is a real estate mastermind that's primarily focused on crypto right now, like Corey said earlier. So it's a way that we can attract those type of people into our circle, that we can network with them. And it's an incredible value proposition. I mean, imagine if you're somebody that's real estate focused, and we say, hey, like, have you seen what you could do with crypto? And then imagine being in a group with a bunch of people that do well in crypto, and now they need to pivot a lot of that capital to real estate. We're going to have people that are going to be licking their chops trying to find good deals, and you'll be positioned really strongly as an operator. So we're doing our best to attract those people. And then Corey and I spend, you know, a lot of our time in other real estate masterminds, finding the best in the country, finding the people who are actually doing the deals. Because real estate is very similar in crypto in that respect, and that everybody likes to talk a big game and say they're doing a lot of cool things and saying their gains are just remarkable, when most are just not. And so there's a lot of vetting and things that you need to do to make sure that you're finding the right people. And so that's what Corey and I do. And frankly, I would say anybody could do that. Like you could go spend your time in real estate events and trying to piece together who might be somebody to park your money with. But if you don't have the experience, your ability to discern who that is very low.
Yeah.
Agreed. Are there any emerging trends or other market shifts that you're currently observing or are actively adapting to?
I felt like we were adapting to like the whole, you know, what's going on with the state of the economy as a whole right now, which is why I kind of wound down and slowed down the operation during this time and then started focusing on crypto. That was the adaptation for me in my business, was just focusing where the opportunity was at. I saw the opportunity here. I feel like real estate has a little bit more downward pressure to go. It takes historically, it usually takes a couple years for the effects of interest rates to really to kind of bottom out real estate or drive it to where it's going to go. I don't say it's going to bottom out and be like 2008, but there's, in my opinion, especially in these A markets like Arizona, California, Utah, you're going to have more downward pressure. And I feel like we could, and this would be amazing. I see the bottom of real estate being like the Q4 of 2024. Can you imagine for a moment if real estate was bottoming and crypto was at its height?
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll play out like that, but man, that's like, real estate's such a slow moving asset class, and crypto is so fast that there might be an opportunity there for the flip of a lifetime. I don't know, right? And so like, that's kind of how I'm playing the game right now. I see the opportunity in crypto. So my main focus is in crypto. I mean, I work in crypto, man. It's like with all the all the due diligence and the Telegram groups and the YouTube videos. It's, and, with our mastermind, it's like, an 8-hour a day job with crypto. And so I want to make sure I'm putting my time and focus where the opportunities at. And when I was doing real estate and crypto at the same time, it was like burning the candles at both ends. I was doing real estate all day long, and I get home and I do crypto all night. And I was leaving no time for my family. And so okay, it's time to shift the focus a little bit. And so that's where we're at right now. This is where I'm at right now. I feel like Dane's pretty close.
Yep. I like, as far as real estate trends that I really like. So I've done a lot of soul searching to say, hey, neither Corey or I are in a place in our career where we're particularly interested in betting on new operators, unproven deals. Had a great conversation with a group out in, I think they're primarily based in California. Talked to the guy who said, oh, our team has done this and this and this, and it's going to be so cool. We're building together. I said, but what have you done together? Like, tell me about a deal you've done together. And he's like, well, we're new, we're going to do deals. And I said, good. Talk to me in 2 years when you've done 10 deals. Like, I'm not the guy that's real interested in betting on brand new people, because it's just like, there's a downside there. And I just don't want you to earn your stripes with my money. Yeah. And so, so I like things that have asymmetric returns. I like things that theoretically could be, a business within a business. I like things that are downturn resistant to a certain degree. And so, where my interest primarily lies in real estate right now is I really like things like drug and alcohol treatment. That business, unfortunately, only gets better the worse the economy gets, for a number of reasons. I really like assisted living, because the older people, those populaces, are starting to need more and more services, and it appears like it'll be that way for the next few decades. I think that's a really unique asymmetric upside opportunity with limited down, as long as you're with a good operator. And then if you want to have some more upside, but maybe some more risk, I think there's a really unique opportunity in nightly rentals with a really solid experience, an experiential type of thing. If you just spin up, Joe Schmo's house, and you're hoping that thing is going to compete with all the other nightly rentals on the market, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But the experiential stuff is booming and absolutely crushing it. And so that's kind of where my interest lies and where I see some emerging opportunities.
Okay, excellent. So I have 2 more questions, and then I want to present something to an Excel sheet that I built, and I want you guys' feedback on it. So
cool.
First question of the last 2 is, are there any specific resources or books, you've mentioned already a couple, or mentors that have been influential in shaping your approach to real estate? And just like, who would you like, books or mentors that you would recommend to, the audience?
Go ahead, Corey.
Okay. That's a long list. I can really hammer out my.
Maybe we should pick what would you say, Corey? Maybe like top 2 or 3 resources.
Let's do that. Yeah. Let's really keep it. And so the best, most influential book of my life has been Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Whoa.
So that is a almost like a follow-up to Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is another amazing book, by the way. Everyone should read that if you're trying to achieve wealth. But this is the follow-up, and man, for the listeners, if you were going to read this book, listen to it on Audible while you're reading, because the devil's voice is chilling, and it's like watching a movie. It's so good. The book is so amazing. Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
So, and I had mentioned the book earlier, the Untethered Soul by Michael Singer was a game changer for me. And then a couple mentors. If you're looking to get into the wholesaling arena of real estate, that would be one of my favorite. I'll just top of my head is Sean Terry. He was life-changing for me. As he's here in my local market. I'm blessed to call him a friend now. He's been amazing. So, and I'll let Dane give a couple too.
Yeah, sure. As far as mentors concerned, like in addition to Sean Terry, if you like the wholesale game, me and Corey met at Joe Dillon's
Oh, Joe
mastermind.
Dillon was a great mentor.
Yep. Yeah, Joe's great. You can go find Joe on Facebook. Joe, it's Joe. Dillon is Dillon. He'll be happy to talk to you. Go DM him. Massive props to Joe. Joe has been instrumental in a lot of the things that we've accomplished. So shout out to him. It's hard to find good mentors and coaches in any industry. And Corey and I have burned through massive amounts of money trying to find them. Joe and Sean are two that we've heavily benefited from. And so we just saved you guys thousands of dollars hunting for some of the right people. So there's a few. I really like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that every single person that has had any measure of success in real estate would tout that book. In addition to The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, that's a really good framework for how he thinks about life and how he operates, maybe is a good way to think about it. And then he has another book called The Surrender Experiment that's like a life example of all of those principles applied. And that's I would say I think that's my favorite business book. I love that book. So those are there's some really good content. There's one by Robert Kiyosaki, has a number of good books. There's another one called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Good.
If you want like some really simple frameworks of like what an investor looks like and what they do and how you can get started and what kind of building a business around that might look like for real estate, that's a really good book. So there's some.
I'll throw one more book in there that I love. Ray Dalio's Principles.
Okay.
It's a big book.
Listen to that. That's an Audible book. Do that one on Audible
while you're driving.
It's a nice thick. I mean, it'll keep you occupied for a while. It's great.
Cool. I wasn't able to write all those down. I'm going to rewind later, re-listen to the
whole thing.
You
want more books, man? We got stacks of books.
Oh, you go to my house, man. I got so many
books.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys, I'm going to share my screen and show you this calculator that I built. And I like to get numbers and ideas out of my head. And because we're in crypto, it's all numbers. So if we can merge the two into a sheet, I found that to be very, very beneficial to me. So this idea was batting around for a long time. Once I put it into Excel, I got pretty excited because let me show you. Let me give you the outline of this, and then I want to ask a question. So let's say the freedom number for this guy is $5,000. That's his mortgage, car payment, all of his monthly expenses for 1 month. And then he has $50,000 in crypto right now in whatever assets. I wouldn't include Bitcoin and Ethereum in that. But let's say Richard Hart ecosystem assets. So his expenses for 3 years would be $180,000. In other words, if he was going to remove from crypto to live for 3 years, he'd have to remove $180,000. And if he exited, now this is where I want to ask you the question. So we'll come back to this one. He'd like to invest about $1 million into real estate. So here's the total that he would have to, technically have to withdraw, move into, stable coins or whatever at the top. So he'd have to do a 41x, which is pretty doable in crypto. You see, my question is, so you don't want, and you guys probably agree with this, you don't want to completely exit crypto and put, maybe you do want to put everything into real estate, as long as you can liquefy that for the next crypto bottom, the next crypto bear market. But if you're going to set aside a certain amount to re-enter crypto at the bottom, what would that look like? Right here, I have it split 50-50, setting aside $1 million to re-enter at the next bear market, and then putting $1 million into a syndication project. What would you guys think would be a fair ratio?
for me, it goes up as the number goes up. So like if I was only exiting out with 2 million, I'd probably be where you're at with a 50-50. But as like, if I'm exiting out with 10 million, maybe it's only 3 million I'm going back in with. So as the number gets bigger, the ratio goes, for me, it goes down.
Okay, so something like that, like a 3 to 7. If it was a 10 million,
Right. That's how I would think. If I exit out 50 million, maybe I'm only coming back in with like, 10 million or even
I love it.
5 million. I don't know. If it's 100 million, you know what I mean? Then it's like, how much do I need to enter back in with? If I have $100 million, do I even need to come back in? It's there's levels to it for me. And Dane's really good with numbers, so I'm very interested to hear what Dane's got to say.
Yeah, I would. I don't know anybody that if you made a couple million in crypto is going to keep their lifestyle at $5,000 a month. So that would be my first like
Dane, I've done a good job of that.
Bingo. Good job, man.
That would be my first thing
Yeah.
I'd push back on. And I would even go so far as to say, and how do I say this in such a way that
Don't be afraid to offend anybody, please.
No, and I just wanna like say things in such a way that I have a message here. I just don't want it to be condescending to anybody that's listening. So until you're making, and I think Corey, in fact, I love Corey's insights on this statement. Until you're making 15, 20, 25, 30 grand a month, I would say that you're not living. I don't know if I'm thinking, I'm not putting this perfectly, but Corey knows what I'm saying. Until you're getting there, like you're just not going to be able to experience some of the finer things that just about everybody in life wants to experience, period. You're just not. And so I would, my initial thinking is to say like, hey, how can you get this? How can you get this to where it's like 15 grand a month? Like on 15 grand a month, even with a family, you could live a decent lifestyle. I'll give you a little personal insight. I've got 3 kids and a wife. We spend, about $15,000 a month right now on our living expenses and what we do. And that's not doing anything crazy. I don't own Lambos and live in a mansion and travel all over the time. That's like, that's decent schools, that's traveling, relatively often throughout the year. I drive a Tesla, like we go to some nicer restaurants. We live a good life, but that's not like balling out of control. And so I would say like, hey, this is the first rung to get to like a fairly comfortable life where you can live a lifestyle that, like you've got some flexibility. So that's the first thing. And then the next is I'm saying, okay, how can I get there? Right. Let's stick with the $2 million. So you've got $2 million. If my goal is to find a way to make 15 grand a month, what is that? That's like 115 times 12. That's 180,000 a year, which is really achievable in my opinion off of 2 million. You could go, and like I said, I'm really interested in efficiency and asymmetric returns. So if this is the amount of money that I've got to get it to go further than, like Corey said, if I've got 10 million. Like those are two very different things. And so if I've got 2 million, then frankly, I'm probably spending some time looking for something that, like I said, is a business within a business. Now it's going to be more work, but the upside is far greater. So buying something where you could own the real estate and you could have a drug rehab treatment facility, for instance, like is really interesting. And it's not what's the word? It's not terribly uncommon. Now you've got to hunt. It's not like the dime a dozen type of opportunity, but it's not crazy to go and find something like that you could acquire and finance, and find a seller finance type of structure or something of that nature, SBA loan. where you could go and buy something like that and make your initial capital injection, make that back in the first year or two. And so, call it something where you've got to say it's 50-50. You're gonna spend $1 million. Let's stick with $1 million in real estate. But you're gonna do this, you're gonna take it to another level. We're gonna go buy a drug and alcohol treatment facility that included the real estate. So you're buying a business within a business. Now you're going to be able to go and get those asymmetric returns and still have $1 million to go back into crypto in the bear. Like that's kind of how I'd be thinking of it. There's a little more to it.
Excellent. You gave me a lot to think about. Really, this was a great stream for anybody that's looking into rotating, using your term again, from crypto into real estate. In my opinion, excellent. So we might be chatting again. I'm excited about the stream with Funding Jim to hear his comments. Honestly, you guys is like the first like real estate stream that we've done. So it'll be interesting to hear some other perspectives.
Yeah, he's got a different niche, a really interesting
Totally different
real estate, which is really cool. I'm fascinated by how he's built his business.
Excellent. Yeah, so really appreciate you guys jumping on, and it was nice
and
to meet
come
you.
check out the mastermind. Like the mastermind right now, like we talked about already, is very crypto focused. So if you're somebody that's comfortable operating in crypto, you know how to do that already. Like it's probably not the place for you at this point in time. But as we come into the bull market, you're going to need to develop a strategy. You're going to need to figure out how to do that. And our hope is that we can bring that value to the crypto ecosystem, the people in the Richard Hart ecosystem that want to do things in such a way to really change their life. You're not going to find a better place. I promise. You will not find a better place than what we're building. And for those that are interested, we're really excited to be able to help in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, we've got over 100 people in the mastermind now.
How do we find it?
Yeah. Dane, would it just directly through us?
There's like a link. Yeah. I would say just DM us. The best way is probably on maybe Twitter is the best way. Go on. You can find Corey Geary. You can find me at moneytalk_Dane. And just DM us. We're happy to chat and fill out in some ideas and some different. We've had some people in the community reach out already with some real estate focused questions. I had one dude, his mom was going to lose her house in foreclosure, and he's like, "What options do we have? What can we do?" And so I told him what I would do and gave him some ideas and some references. And so if you guys need help or questions in that respect, we're here to help. We'd love to point you in a direction that makes sense.
Cool. Thank you. I will DM you, and then I'll put that link in the description to this video.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody for joining us. Red Squirrel, it's always good to see you.
Red Squirrel, my boy.
Just a reminder. Oh, do you have any final comments? Anything you want to close out with?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so, we could talk about this ad nauseum. I think it's so important that you develop a plan and a strategy and go in with eyes wide open, because your strategy is probably not the right one that you're going to end with at the end of the bull market. So be adaptable and willing to change and update your worldview as more information becomes available to make better decisions. And then, like we talked about here, I think it's so important to have a plan so that you're not slaughtered by the tax man. If you have not had that experience where you give away a small fortune to the government because you made too much money in a year and you didn't have a plan to mitigate and manage that, it is a terrible experience. And I'm glad I've been able to experience it in a far smaller measure than I think that I will with crypto if I had no plan. And so for you crypto guys, we talk about this all of the time. You need to have a freaking plan, because that's going to be one of the narratives of this next bear market is, oh, I got slaughtered by the tax man. And we're here to say that doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, because that screws all your numbers up there, Eric. With your 2 million, 1 million, all that's out the window now if you're paying 35% to the tax guy.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a lot. So you gotta start planning now, and you gotta plan in the bear market and start giving this some thought process, because in the midst of the bull, it's too late.
And
Yep.
it takes time. Like it's a lot more than, hey, I just bought real estate. Like, are
Right.
there things you could qualify for? Could you become a real estate professional for the IRS guidelines to
Right.
get a better return? Like those things take months in
Yeah.
order to accomplish. It's not something that's just like, hey, I decided I'd buy real estate right now, and now I've saved myself. That's a good step. It could be far greater for you if you have some more planning. Once again, we're here to give ideas and help. Since we've done that, I haven't paid taxes in a number of years because I've been able to buy enough real estate, and my depreciation made it so I didn't have a taxable burden for the as far as the IRS is concerned. So happy to show you how to pay no taxes if that's something that you're interested in.
And we're taking it a step further, as you already know. I'm moving to Puerto Rico as of right now. That's a kind of a tax haven, if you will, for the United States. And then Dane will be following here at the end of the year. So we're even taking it a step further, just to really make sure that we lock in the
Act 60.
Act 60, correct. And you have to, and I get this all the time. It's funny, Dane. I don't really tell you. I get messages all the time like, "Hey, I'll move to Puerto Rico in 2025." It's like, you don't get it. You can't move there after you've made the gains, because then you're still taxable when you go pregnant with crypto into the country, and whatever your cost basis was to get that portfolio, and then whatever the valuation of your portfolio when you go into the country, you got to pay on the delta. And so if you spend $100,000 on your crypto portfolio, but you're entering the country and it's worth 5 million, well, you got to pay all those taxes. So you gotta front run the market. You gotta have some faith, and you gotta go.
There you go again.
When everything is wrecked, you gotta get. It takes some courage. You got to go out there when it's completely down and it's worth nothing, and stick your flag in the sand and say, okay, I'm here. This is my taxable burden now, which is basically nothing. Let the bull market commence, right? And you can't do it after. And I don't know how many times on Twitter I get this. I get people messaging me all the time asking me about the Act 60. And they're like, well, I'll come out in 2025. I'm like, bro, you're late. You failed the plan.
Yep.
I'm going to look into that more. Quick question before I close this out. I have 6 live viewers on my channel. How many viewers do you have on your channel?
I don't know. I didn't look. Dane.
Okay.
Let me look on let's see what we got. And so, yeah, guys, if you're watching us on our channels, it's not showing me the live on mine.
And then Stephanie's truck, I heard from her, it's still on a lift, so she's not going to make it. We'll have to catch her on the next one. And a few other comments on your last comments was like crypto moves really fast. So people really need to pay attention to crypto. Like real estate is moving quite a bit slower. So the one to watch is crypto.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially right now. Especially right now.
For sure.
This is it. We're in the accumulation zone, and there's only a small little window. That's it. And then once that window is closed, then it's like you're going to have to wait for another market cycle. And who knows, you got your window, and it's now, guys. You got to act fast. And I tell you what, I'll have no regrets.
Yep. So far, so good, man. It's exciting times, man. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. As a reminder, we're going to have Brett Schwartz in a few weeks. He's going to talk about deferring capital gains taxes. Crispy Man is coming on. Funding Jim. Alex McWhirter. Like and subscribe to my channel. And
please, guys,
Dane and Corey's.
If you're watching mine or Dane's channel, like and subscribe to Eric. He's doing his best to put out content with crypto and real estate, which we love. Thank you very much. We need more of this. We need more of it, man. This is awesome. And so, this is going to end up making everybody, if we follow along the plan and just stay true, and it can create generational wealth for you and your family. So thank you, Eric. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. You'll find all of the following in the description for this video: ways to connect with our guests, link to our Telegram group for any questions we didn't get to in the chat. There weren't very many. to Monday morning. Go figure. A link to the Aurochs wallet, which we like as an alternative to MetaMask. And if you're brand new to crypto or the RH ecosystem, there are links to set up an appointment for a one-on-one meeting. Thanks again for joining us. See you all next time.
See you
Bye.
guys.